Lorian, you hear a strange humming noise and some rattling within your pack. And you also notice that you're feeling some things within you that you felt before. Jinyo, you don't really notice much at all. The gem is placed into the doorway, and the doorway slowly opens. I'm revealing what's beyond.
I rush through.
Actually, much of you are pretty far below, so you can't see too much.
Yeah, I'm getting tingly. What
gender is Lorian?
Is that in relation to our
Lorian was a...
She's currently female.
Yeah.
She was born a male.
In relation... Is that in relation to our conversation earlier?
Yes, I think so. That's what I said. Lorian's a chick right now.
I'm all over the place,
you
alright?
Roll for confusion, whether it's actually related to what's going on or the conversation.
Let's keep going.
Yeah.
It was...
So, anyway, right. Oh, hey, Steve. Look at OOC just for a moment. Lest you ever forget.
In Discord?
In Discord, yes.
Yeah,
oh Lord.
What we were talking about.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
No, not the music. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn it down. Sorry about that. Too bad. There we go.
Don't worry.
Yes.
I don't understand the reference, but alright.
That's fine. We'll talk about it later. That's my answer for everything. So Lorian, you notice something rumbling violently in your pack.
Oh, that which lurks has some kind of influence here. I have a feeling. A feeling. Do I see any giant pink ass crystals popping up anywhere?
You do not. Oh, I moved the map. Hang on. I'm revealing for you. One moment. You see the one crystal that you do have. The one crystal that you do have is violently vibrating.
Oh no. Seal that pack up tight.
Well, I'm still revealing for you. One moment, please. And
is my little buddy back?
As you round the corner, you see 5 deathlocks standing among rough terrain with cliffs between, massive chains, and a spectral form of Ganondorf being summoned by these 5 warlocks. The gem within your pack, Lorian, rumbles to the point where you can barely keep your pack still. The 5 warlocks turn towards you all. Deathlocks, rather.
I mean, as we walked up, could I cast a spell on myself?
Sure. You do right now.
I cast Long Strider on myself.
Okay.
And
that's for an hour.
Can I make an addition to that thingamabobber?
Sure. It's as if these deathlocks see you and are allowing you to look them over as they look you over and size you up before any initiatives are rolled.
Well, here we go. Haste. Zoom.
Successful.
You, everything slows down, and with Long Strider as well, you just like feel a fucking massive surge in your body, and yep, you get
what does haste do?
How many of
double
us?
the movement speed, and you get one more action.
I got 90 feet of movement at the moment.
Pretty crazy. Just a sec, I'll link the spell for you.
Alright.
So I've got 30. What is it? How much do you get, Rose? Extra?
No, you don't get it. Only him.
Oh, okay.
I'm fucking buffed.
I don't have it on.
You all also see that this area is outside of the tomb on the opposite side of the entrance, with a grand valley in the distance on both sides of this area, and sharp spires that rise up beyond the path to the left side there.
Before we run in here, should we not try and get the rest of the group through?
I was just about to do that.
So as you're thinking that, you all hear a gibbering laughter inside of your minds. For those of you who have had run-ins with Ganondorf before, you are familiar with it. For those of you who are not familiar with Ganondorf, you're not sure what you're hearing, but it is a terrible gibbering laughter in your mind, and it is very disturbing to you.
Damn it, Ganondorf, I'm still hungover from the last time.
The spectral version of him doesn't speak, but you see its tentacles writhing beneath these crevices. Spectral versions of the tentacles. It's as if these deathlocks are having a commune with him through its spectral projection.
He should like me. I've destroyed 2 monuments unknowingly that he would make him happy. Anyways, that's an interesting sound.
I'm gonna reach into my bag and put my crystal.
I'm sorry, what do you do? Your mic cut out.
I reach into the bag and put my hand on the fucking crystal and grab it and grasp it.
As soon as you do that, it explodes, dealing 1 damage to everybody except Lorian. And as soon as that happens,
1 damage.
And as soon as that happens, your minds blend. You are within each other's thoughts.
What?
And you are now
back in the.
You are now in the mind of Falminar. There are no words that tell you this, you just simply know. Beatrice's face is embraced by Falminar's bare hands, and his gauntlets hang on his belt as he kisses her softly on the lips in dim candlelight in one of the Oath Fighter Guild's guest rooms. You're seeing this as sort of spectral spirits around him. You can't interact with the world physically, but you can walk around and investigate and see things. She breathes heavily, the bosom of her dress rising for air, and she says, "I foresaw this, but did not think it to come true." Falminar begins to unlatch his dragon chest male torso, the dragon male chest piece, but she reaches her hand over to pause him. "I must escort Rainswept to her home. It is late." Falminar nods and they return to the round table with the old woman. She looks up at the knight and says, "What would you see of the winding future before I depart?" And you recognize this to be late night after that time you spent in the Fighters Guild. For those of you who are new to the adventure, you're not familiar with this, but for those of you who are here, you know that this is after hours after an honorary dinner you had with the party. Falminar says, after he places his palms on the table and thinks quietly for a moment, "There is a prophecy of a new god being born from 2 evils. How can we protect the world from this new god?" Rainswept does not rattle her cup of bones, she does not mutter incantations, she doesn't move her body. She stares into Falminar's eyes without blinking and replies, "You must nurture it or slay it. Anything else will bring certain doom." Beatrice and Falminar look at each other, not knowing what to do with the diviner's words, but they decide to keep these things to themselves. Suddenly you are brought into Jinyo's thoughts and his past. Again, you're able to investigate and you're able to see, but not interact. The sun beats down upon you, Jinyo. Dust fills the air and has the familiar scent of the Orclands as you relive this memory. Shouts from your tribe, the Igduru tribe, ring through the air. You lie on your back, bleeding from the nose and with a broken rib from the one-on-one combat against the other slave in the pit. The fight is for the right to journey out of the Orclands and prove yourself to the tribe. Your opponent whips out his cock and urinates on your face, a display of victory. The audience still cries out for you to fight back for their own entertainment. What do you do, Jinyo?
Get up and fight back.
Make a strength
Take the blood
check.
out of my mouth.
Make a strength check.
I mean, we'll just do, that's your strength. Yeah, that's a saving throw.
If you are unable to do so, he kicks you in the broken rib again, causing you a great deal of pain.
I'm gonna spit on his face and try and get up again.
This time make a constitution saving throw to make your way through the pain. You rise, and in your hand you realize you have nothing but a club. I've put the attack roll on your character sheet already.
I'm gonna attack him with my club.
Make the roll. You are both battered and beaten by combat already. Okay, 14. Let's see how much damage you do. 4 bludgeoning. You batter him in the bicep, and he stumbles backward. But
I keep going if I can. I'm sorry.
As a rogue, you can make. Actually, you can make another attack. So he strikes upon you.
You should have sneak attack. That one.
Oh, fuck. I'm saving it. Forgot about it.
Yeah, that every turn.
Well, this is also in my past, so I wouldn't be this level, would I? This is a long time
You
ago.
would not. You would not.
So
He actually hits you with a 20 attack and knocks you to the ground again. But he is not as confident as he was before.
Can I get back up again?
You can either try to get back up again with a strength check, or you can try to attack from the ground, which is very unconventional, but I'll allow it.
I'll try and attack him from the ground, why not? I'll go for his ankles. Can I try and like grapple him to the ground while hitting him with my club?
Now, grappling from the ground I will allow that with an acrobatics check. Attacking from the ground, I will have you do with a disadvantage attack. And getting up to attack him first would be a strength or constitution, your choice. Also, any other players can do any non-physical rolls as well if they choose to investigate, insight, or anything like that, or perception.
I will go with perception. Is there anything I can learn from this?
Yes. Lorian, as this is happening and as Junior decides what to do, you see all manner of orcs and half-orcs. Mostly half-orcs. Some of the orcs here are slaves as they're part of the caste system. You see that Jinyo is wearing his face paint similarly as he put on his face the blood of the Deathlocks in the same manner. Just back then, he wore this face paint the same way. You also, with a 21, which is extremely high, you notice a familiar face among the half-orcs.
Oh, really?
You see Tumagu, the slaver, which you've crossed paths with before. She stands at the precipice here, looking down upon Jinyo, rooting for him.
Huh.
You believe that she may be one of the slavers which wants her slave to win. Jinyo, what do you choose to do? 10 Constitution save? You are barely able to make yourself rise with that roll, barely.
But I'm up on my feet, right?
You are.
Just, okay. Can I, like, sort of in an intimidating display, does this count as an action? Just like a role-play thing? Punch myself in the head a little bit, like, bang myself, not like hard, but like, you know, like boxers.
Make an intimidation roll. Yes, make an intimidation roll, yeah. Absolutely. Make it with advantage because you're in the moment and you have nothing to lose here. You have nothing to lose here. You notice for a brief moment he focuses on you doing that, lowering his guard for a fraction of a second. Do you take the opportunity?
Yeah, I'm gonna run at him and just go fucking mental. Do everything I can.
Make the club attack roll.
Shit.
I have to say, you miss. You miss entirely.
Yeah,
You batter his shield.
Can I... Do I still have dodge and evasion or not? No.
Evasion is more for area of effect attacks, things like that. You notice him stumbling backwards as if woozy from the fight before. Make a perception roll, Jinyo. With this perception roll, you actually recall the memories because you lived it before. These other bodies that lie on the ground were actually the victims of your opponent, not necessarily yourself. You played smart and you played by dodging and dancing about the battlefield. So he's already been through 3 other fights, making him very woozy and weak, despite the fact that you've been on the ground with a broken rib. This allows you to have 1 more attack against him.
Okay,
before he strikes back.
I can't use my, like, I can't use rapid. Yeah, I can. Will I be level 3 at this time? Would you say?
It doesn't matter, you're just rolling with what you have now. Because you're sort of reliving the experience.
I just meant that would give me the crit attack.
Yeah, you can have that. We'll say that you were fledgling kind of learning your trade here. You're also pumped full of adrenaline, and you're also taking like an orcish version of like methamphetamine. They actually give it to the slaves before the fights for a good show.
So do I roll with advantage then? That's how it works.
It would be a regular roll because you're also fucked up with a broken rib.
So I just click club roll again.
Yeah.
23, there it goes.
That's actually a critical. That means you smashed him in the fucking skull. The blood sprays so high it hits this guy up here. And
Nice.
you've defeated him. The crowd goes...
Smear it across my fucking face.
Oh,
and
fuck
I scream.
yeah. Absolutely.
Not that because my girlfriend's asleep, but otherwise I would.
The crowd goes wild, and Tamagu leaps down amid the chaos and the writhing bodies. And she puts her fist to her chest, which is the first time that she has ever shown you a sign of respect as one of your slavers. This is not something that they commonly do. And she says to you, you will venture out of these lands. Not many of us do. Our people need something new to believe in and fight for. The other races have strained us for far too long. Tamagu lowers her voice among the screaming and the shouting and the chaos and the fanfare. And only you can hear her say this amid the screams and the tribal war horns. She says, some say there is a new evil rising from the far realm. The world will fall into the hands of those without power. Go, Jinyo, slave of Yalaka. Find and let us share the spoils of this new evil. Leave here. Our tribe deals with humans unlike some others. This will help you. Even if I have been hired by slavers and will have... she says, even I have been hired by slavers and will have opportunities to the west. Without saying another word, she puts your mother's necklace in your hand, something that you were not allowed to own until this moment. All of you can make a perception roll on this.
20.
Joseph, you see that it is a gem that you're not very familiar with considering you deal in these sort of things. Oh, I'm sorry, 21. You're certain that it is a gem that is nothing you've ever handled or have seen such a cut before. Fred Geeks 20, you know that this is something that you've seen before. You've seen Jinyo carry it with him on his journey. He keeps it very close to him and only has revealed it 2 or 3 times in the months and months that you've known him. You know that it is something from the far realm, but you don't really question it. It's pinkish and purple in hue, and it has a very unique geometrical cut to it, unlike anything you've seen jewelers cut before. Lorian, you think it resembles one of the gems, one of the otherworldly crystals that you've seen before, yeah.
Oh.
And as the scene cuts, you immediately go into Joseph's mind. Make an Arcana roll, Lorian. I'm gonna lower the volume, don't worry.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't like this.
That's Iron Man.
Only an 8.
Iron Man.
Sorry.
All you
Can I-
know, Lorian, all you know, because this is very strange to all of you, you're all sharing the same consciousness at the moment and experiencing all the pain that Jinyo had, the broken rib, the nice feeling that Falminar had when he was kissing Beatrice. All these feelings you all experience as you share these experiences in history together. And right now you feel your heart beating very fast, and you feel very tense, and you feel out of your element, and you feel like you're in a great deal of danger. You're certain that, Lorian, although you're not sure what's causing it, this has something to do with the madness that crystals of the far realm can play upon the mind. Joseph, the sound of the crashing waves roar through the windows behind you. It is after hours at the Salty Mermaid Tavern by the southern coast of Port Firth, and the air is chilly. Before you stands the infamous Merrick Rommel, who invited you to the meeting. For those of you who know him, there he is. For those of you who don't, there he is. To his left is a masked woman that you're not familiar with, but some of you may be. Your purpose is to deliver a specific lockbox which you stole from a high-profile mansion in town as you were instructed. Members of the Crimson Coin and Silk Strands fill the room and await Merrick's words. Merrick turns towards a masked woman to the right, and he says, Shay, this initiate obtained the last piece of the bargain with Virkaras. You will finally be free of the debt owed to the Gith. Merrick looks you over and says to Shay, he has no idea, has been carrying around the map of the unholy fetus. And the masked woman joins in the laughter. Merrick outstretches his hand with a key in his palm. Go ahead, open it, he says to you, Joseph.
I take the key and open the box.
As you do so, Lorian, make a perception, only Lorian on this one.
got a cat ass in my face. Hold on. Okay.
Sounds like a thrilling time. With a 19, you immediately recognize this to be Shay, leader of the Crimson Coin, who you witnessed be slain by you and your party in the sewers of Gryold. You know that this must have taken place before meeting Joseph. Inside Joseph, you see that, and all of you can make an insight on Merrick if you choose. Unfortunately, Shay's body language is very hard to read and she's wearing a mask. But inside, as you open the lockbox, you see that there is a dragon egg, and it is ornamented with pink designs all over it.
Oh.
Rohal, you see with your 18 insight that Merrick didn't take the lockbox and open it himself for fear that there could be a trap on it. And Joseph, this lowly initiate to the guild, who's not even a member yet, would be worth sacrificing if such a trap were on it. That's why Joseph had the honor of opening such a rare piece of treasure.
Can I make a perception check and just see if I know where they are? Like that's
sure.
Like a thief.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
No.
6. You think that it's somewhere along the western coast, which is just about as far as you get from the Orc lands in this realm. So you're not too familiar with the specifics in this region.
Where is it? Should I know?
You're in character familiar with Portfirth. Out of character, not so much. It's on the southern tip of the same piece of land that Gryold is on. I will say Fredgeek, Rohal, and Lorien can make a perception roll at the egg.
It's only a 12.
Lorien and Rohal, you think you recognize some of the etchings on the egg as abyssal symbols, abyssal and outer world, which are some of the far planes. But other than that, you're not quite sure what else to make of it. You think it might be a blue dragon's egg, but you can't tell if it's a real egg or just an ornamental egg, kind of like a Fabergé type of thing. Joseph, what do you do next?
I don't know what to do next.
Merrick is motioning for you to take the egg out of the lockbox.
I do so cautiously.
As soon as you touch the egg, your hand starts to glow pink, and the glow starts to move upward toward your forearm. And this is when you start to have the image, the same image that you saw in the model of the plains in the tomb, seared into your memory. A three-dimensional image and a single point among swirling, stretching layers of the plains. And as soon as that happens, you hear the woman named Shay behind the mask shout. And so Merrick and Shay quickly put their hand on the egg, and their hands also glow, before it shatters and crumbles into many gray pieces that lose its luster. And the three of you alone have this image seared into your memories. You, Merrick, and Shay. One location among the plains that even you cannot comprehend, but you can only envision. And for a moment, Shay and Merrick, these leaders of the Silk Strands and the Crimson Coin, consider what that means for a lowly initiate to have. Make an insight roll, Joseph.
Oi, fuck. Oi, fuck. Can I use inspiration?
You can use inspiration to roll again.
Oh, please. Where is it? Wait, insight.
You're not really certain what they plan to do, but you know that you are not even a member yet, and you have information that you should not have in your mind. And you see several of these members, quite the menagerie of people, quite the rogues gallery. To your right, you see a very pale-looking individual, a ginger with some hand crossbows, and to your left, somebody who appears to be reaching for both of their daggers on their belt. A shirtless man who's rippling with muscles and flexing, may have had one too many drinks, who is ready to beat the shit out of you. They're just waiting for the word from Shay or Merrick, depending on whose side they're on. But you realize that you are no longer welcome there, and not a word has to be spoken for that to be clear. You see both Merrick and Shay reaching for hand crossbows slowly under their cloaks. There aren't many ways. There aren't many ways out of here.
Two questions. What do I have as in weaponry besides my rapier that I should have already? And what sort of ways do I see out? Jesus, I'm jittery.
All of you have is your rapier, and you see only 2 glass panes behind you that lead to the cold, rough ocean.
So the window, right? Those are windows.
Correct.
Yeah.
Jump.
Flee! Little spirit us are like, get the fuck out!
All of you feel your heart racing as if you are Joseph in this moment.
Can I run my spirit?
I do 180, it is right behind me, right?
It's, I'll ping it for you. This here is a window in the corner of the room that leads straight to the cold, frothy sea. The night of Port Firth.
Well, I take my chances. I take a quick turn and fucking dive through that window.
Make an acrobatics check.
16.
You deftly dive through into the cold, icy ocean, and you all feel the bitter chill to your bone as he escapes with this forbidden knowledge. Roll Hall, 20 years earlier, with Theo, his blood hunter friend, racing through the abyssal plain. This is no mistake. He knows exactly where he is. The memory is clear to him. Behind him, behind his partner, he sees...
Shit, what the
It's
fuck
one of these
names that
motherfuckers.
demon?
He doesn't know what it's
Rises up.
called. He doesn't know what it's called, but it's a hell of a demon. And it's chasing his buddy Theo, who's a blood hunter, and the blood hunter is carrying the young tiefling boy, which they were sent to kill, but they just couldn't do it. All of these stories that you're experiencing are something that we've cemented out of character, each of you, unbeknownst to everyone else. But now you're having a flavor of what's happening. You can feel the heat burning all around you and drying your skin. The fires of the hellscape surround you, an all too familiar moment in time many years ago. You stand at a precipice looking down upon the volcanic caverns. So gaining on him is a Hezrau, that's what it's called. It's a large toad-like demon serving the demon lord Abraxas. This is what you know, Rohal, and in your mind everyone else does as well. Theo looks back and then back at you and shouts, "You must catch the boy, there is no other way." And so he throws him toward you.
I reach for him and catch him.
And that's going to be a dex saving throw.
Oh, God.
Actually, yeah, these are like bears, right? That's the long throw. But on the other hand, it's a small child. You must throw yourself. You must jump yourself. Behind you, you have the demon closing in on you.
Are you gonna catch that kid?
Yeah.
The young toddler is flying through the air, my friend.
That's a good save.
With one hand, you catch the child by the back, and as you do so, you notice... Make a perception roll on that. You notice on its neck it has a demonic symbol. Make a religion roll as well. And as you toss the boy onto your shoulder to begin moving, you notice on the palm of the hand which caught the boy, for a brief moment in time, in the glow of the hellfires, the same exact symbol in the center of your palm. And as soon as your hand is removed from the light of the hellfires, the symbol is no longer visible. With the 10 religion roll, you know only and nothing more that is the symbol of Abraxas. And this baby is somehow cursed or somehow marked by the demon himself, and that this Hezrau is a minion of him. Not Abraxas himself, but simply a servant. Theo also jumps and leaps, and he's pulling himself up as the demon chases you both. All of you can make a perception roll. And/or intelligence roll. Lorian, you and your studies of the planes and the languages. What languages do you know?
Elven, Common, Draconic, Sylvan, and yeah, that's it.
Okay. Fred Geek, what languages do you know?
Common, Gnomish, Orc, and Undercommon.
What was the last one? Sorry.
Undercommon.
Undercommon. Okay.
I know Infernal.
You know, Infernal is different than Abyssal, unfortunately. Believe it or not, Infernal is the language of the devils, which are lawful evil, and the demons are chaotic evil. They're a little different, but similar in origin. So you're not quite certain. However, Ev, with a 23 perception, although you do not know some of the languages that may be pertinent in the symbol in Rohal's hand, which was only briefly visible, you did notice that among the symbols was not much unlike what Joseph saw, a form of a map pertaining to the hellscape. And you're a bright person, and it was a 23 perception. Make an intelligence, no sorry, make a religion roll. No sorry, a history roll on that perception roll. You're not quite certain what that pertains to, but there's something here in this abyssal plane that the symbol on his palm pertains to.
I have a feeling we have to go to where that map leads to make that sword so we can kill Ganondorf. But I don't know for sure.
Let me lower the volume. Sorry about that. It's kind of loud. Red Geek, you remember this moment all too well. Mechanical spotlights illuminate the thick forest outside of Belurag's Keep, the gateway to the Eastern Underdark. After a long battle against the cultists of Ganondorf, you have manned the last Deep Gnome Traverser, that's what this vehicle is called. The vehicle, which is powered by steam and interplanar crystals, is being overwhelmed by the fanatics and their oozes, yet you push onward. So your whole people have been genocided, and you and your brother are the last ones escaping. He's operating this machine with you, and you are pushing through them. And some of them are actually mounting the legs and running up toward you. It's an intelligence check in order to operate your vehicle and see how well you can shoot cannons. With a 19, you actually blast several of the cultists. You blast this one to the death. The cannon on the right blasts this ooze, and you stomp this ooze out here in that one round. These two cultists make their way on board. You have very little defenses once people become on board. Would any of you like to make a perception check?
Sure, of course.
Yeah, I will.
Don't mind if we do. Dang.
Roll is the only one who, as he's sort of omnisciently moving around this memory, feeling the panic and feeling the sadness of an entire people being wiped out, you notice that under this hood here, approaching Fridgeek's brother, is none other than Ulrich's human form. The one and only time you were able to see him in human in Gryhold. It's the one and only time you were able to recognize his face. Ulrich is among the worshippers of Ganondorf, among the genocide of the Deep Gnomes. And as you see that look on his face, and as Fridgeek's brother is attempting to operate the engines and keep them running, these two cultists stab him to death on board the Traverser.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Can we hear a little thing from like I'm very passionate, like, no!
Rohal is so into it, he's role-playing for Chris. I love it. But yeah. This is a very painful moment for Fridgeek as well. I mean, you're also all, anybody except for Fridgeek here has never seen such machinery other than the airships that Lorien has ridden on, the gnomish airships. She knows that gnomes ride these things. I don't think any of the rest of you have ridden on airships. You've seen them fly overhead, but you've never seen something of this caliber. And Fridgeek does make it through and survives despite being very overwhelmed. Obviously, he's here today. Lorien, you can be seen somewhat to the right here. It is time for your moment. The breeze gently blows on your feminine face, your feminine form. Let me lower the volume. And you recognize this place across the sea where you came from. Not from the Alais province, but to the far west. And you're alone after your mage college classes have finished for the day. You feel a kick in your stomach as you hold your pregnant belly gently. It's been several months now that you're pregnant. You're very well aware of it. The father's not necessarily someone who's any more special than the other men you've laid with, or women for that matter, but for once in your life you wanted to take it upon you to do something more. Something more than keep your nose in your books and study and live your charmed life. A messenger hurriedly makes his way down the path and hands you an envelope and an envelope opener. And he says,
Hello?
Lorien Nelinithar, I presume?
Yes, that's me.
And as he hands it to you, he walks away.
I stand alone in the garden, open.
Anybody can make a perception here as she does this, including Lorien herself, reliving the memory in greater detail as a wiser individual.
Dang, that's 20.
Too many emotions tied up to it to really...
Rohal,
The rest
Ginio,
of
and
us are
Joseph.
like, zoom.
Rohal, Ginio, and Joseph have pretty high rolls, and you all... I don't know what Fred Geeks is.
One shit. Doesn't matter.
Okay, fair enough. You all notice that the messenger is very plainly dressed. He appears to be a human with reddish hair, beard, and whatnot. But you notice, the three of you notice, that the individual is wearing an amulet of the Ancient Eye, in other words, Ganondorf. And Rohal doesn't notice this, but Ginio and Joseph notice that the envelope opener, the small golden knife, has in its hilt one of those small pink gems that you all know too well now. Something that Lorien would not have noticed, as many things are gem-encrusted where she's from. She opens the envelope and reads it to herself. You have been summoned across the sea to Port Firth in the Alais province to claim the Belmare inheritance. You have 4 months to proclaim yourself as benefactor. Seal of the Port Firth legal offices. And she takes a moment to think about this, to think about what it would mean to leave. And as her memory serves correctly, she stands and looks across the water.
I place my hand protectively over my belly, thinking about how difficult a long voyage might be.
And suddenly you feel a change that you've known before, only once every couple of years. Often paired with strange rumblings and earthquakes, but this time, no such thing.
No!
And as you hold your belly, you let go of the paper, you let go of the letter opener as it falls into the sea in front of you, and you begin to change slowly, slower than usual, into a man.
No!
And the belly that was kicking shrinks down into that of a man's belly, and you are a male, and the baby is gone.
Oh God. I fall to the ground and weep.
Find yourself back in reality, but you've all learned a few things about yourselves. And in your mind, Evan, only in your mind, you hear Ganondorf in your own voice saying that if you do his bidding, he can return that baby to you. And we're going to leave it there, folks. We're going to leave it there, folks, for next time. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
Snap back to reality.
That last one fucking got me, bro. I wasn't expecting that. God damn.
I will say a couple weeks ago, that was actually Ev's idea that the gender curse actually at one point she had a baby that she was gonna have and then turned back into a male. So I'm like, I gotta fucking put that in here, man. I gotta put that in here.
Yeah.
That's good shit.
I
That's good writing.
I should have dropped the fucking egg.
In there.
You guys did so much dungeon crawling. I had to throw a little RP in there. You know what I mean?
I should have dropped the